Good day, adventurers. Today we will be talking about a magical item, a legendary artifact called the Gauntlet of Body and Mind. Now, this is going to be one of 13 gauntlets that I plan to talk about, so go ahead and look forward to more of these. If you end up really liking this one, you're going to love the rest of them. Each gauntlet is very unique. Some of them are made with a particular class in mind to be really good to combo with. But in all intents and purposes, this gauntlet and all the others are going to be really good no matter who is wearing it. Whether it be a frontline fighter to a backline caster to a support character or a ranger, an archer. This gauntlet and all the others are going to be extremely powerful and extremely useful. They level with the player, which means they're extremely good no matter what level you get them at, because they're going to have a bunch of powers and abilities that they give immediately no matter what level you put them on. The gauntlets are designed to be random in a sense. Normally, when you find the gauntlets out in the world, they look like just rusted old gauntlets. Specifically, it's always one gauntlet that you find, and it's always the right gauntlet that you find. Just in case you roleplay anything with dominant hands, some of these gauntlets will have effects based on that. If you ignore that, then that's fine. But yeah, it's a really unique item, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And so, without further stalling, I think it's time to talk about this particular gauntlet, the Gauntlet of Body and Mind. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, Gauntlet of Body and Mind. I used to have images for all these gauntlets, and I just used some random internet images that I found in some Google searching when looking at art. But to avoid copyright issues, I removed all images from my files that I'll be sharing with you guys, just in case somebody gets upset with me over it. I want to avoid that. So for now, this gauntlet, like I said, they look like rusty old gauntlets when you first find them. When you put them on, you usually undergo some form of pain and a little bit of a transformation, and the gauntlet usually changes completely. For the Gauntlet of Body and Mind, I picture it to change to a little bit of a what looks like a thin spandex layer of skin around the arm, as well as several black and gold metal, ebony and ivory, white and black yin yang like symbols on it. And I have a little description for when you first put the gauntlet on, which says, when you put this gauntlet on, it tightens around the skin, causing constricting pain. As the pain slowly fades away, it starts to feel like a second skin. Level 1, as you can see, you get an ability right away called Steel Knuckles. +1 unarmed and natural damage. So this gauntlet is going to be, it was made with the monk in mind, but I feel that it's going to be really useful to anyone that wears it, because depending on your role play, anybody could get into a unarmed confrontation, and there is other classes that benefit from unarmed and natural damage bonuses besides the monk, such as either the demonic or dragon bloodline sorcerers getting their claws. That's considered natural damage, so you'll get a bonus to that. Fighters and barbarians that want to get into a brawl or are caught without their weapons and need to fight back, you'll get a bigger damage bonus. And then for characters like rogues and wizards and sorcerers that don't have these special bloodlines, that might not get into fights at all, they at least get a damage output increase that other classes don't get, to help them make up for and to catch up to classes that do have high physical damages. And it doesn't stop there. Level 2, you get a +1 to your strength modifier. At level 3, you get a +2 to your acrobatics and your perception. This is a little bit about the body and mind thing. This gauntlet, for the most part, is all about the body. It's going to mostly give body bonuses, and the mind part comes in with how the player is going to cleverly think of how to use these abilities. But there is a little bit of body and mind in the skill bonuses, in which there's always a mental skill and a physical skill that's been given as a bonus. In this case, acrobatics and perception. Who doesn't need more perception? Level 4, your strength bonus increases to a +2, and you gain your second unique ability called Pump Up. You can spend a full round action to pump up your body to new levels of power. For each full round action you spend using Pump Up, you increase your physical stats temporarily by +1 and increase all forms of speed temporarily by 5 feet. Bonuses gained from Pump Up last a number of rounds equal to half your level plus the number of rounds spent using Pump Up. You can only use Pump Up for a number of rounds per day equal to your character level. When the bonus from Pump Up ends, you become fatigued for a number of minutes equal to 5 times the number of rounds you spent using Pump Up. So this is a bit of risk and reward for for your first ability, and it's not a huge deal at level 4, but this ability gets more and more powerful as we level up. It gets faster and it gets stronger. So for now, this is a really good ability for getting that extra oomph, whether it be just a few more hit points for the battle to come, or a few more to AC bonus, or a few more to hit bonus, because you're going to be increasing your strength, your constitution, and your dexterity by +1 for every round that you spend. So if you at least spend 2 rounds on the back line, increasing your stats, you're at least getting a +1 to your attack, a +1 to your AC, and 1 additional hit point per level. And then you also gained yourself 5 temporary bonus movement, and that helps you make up for the fact that you spend some time in the back line. You're able to catch up in the fight a little faster. And all this stuff increases as we level up. So let's move on. Let's go a little further in. So level 5, we have a +1 to dexterity and an ability called Steel Bones, in which you do 2 damage to objects that physically hit you. In the core rulebook, under additional rules, there are rules for items taking damage, specifically for weapons taking damage and weapon hit points. If you want to take up the task as a GM, or if your GM, or if you want to talk your GM to trying to take up the task to monitor weapon hit points. Weapons don't have a lot of hit points. They usually have a high hardness with a few hit points. We ignore hardness when it comes to the damage being dealt by Steel Bones, because the weapon is being swung extremely hard against the person, and it's kind of like the weapon itself is doing the damage, not the person. And also the damage is small amounts. If I wanted to get past the hardness, then I would have to deal a lot more damage, and I thought it was just easier to ignore hardness and do little bits of damage. So if you want, you can use this. You can use the ability. This is 100% an optional ability. GMs do not have to use this. They do not have to follow this, because I understand that keeping track of an additional rule, especially one that you're not used to, I fully understand you not wanting to do that. But I do encourage, if you want to try something new, keep track of weapon damages, because it feels really powerful for a character to be attacked and see weapons break off their body, and then giving them an advantage in combat as they're now facing an unarmed opponent. And so moving on to level 6, Steel Knuckles gets a increase. The damage increases to a +3 unarmed and natural damage, and you gain a new ability called Furious Strike. You may, as a standard action, attack a single enemy with as much force as you can muster. For every 5 you beat the AC, you send the target flying straight back 10 feet, then it falls prone. If an obstacle would stop the target from moving the full amount, it takes 1d6 bludgeoning damage for every 10 feet it could move. This is a really cool ability. It's a very anime ability, you could say, in which it gives the wearer of this gauntlet the power to move combatants around the battlefield. And this could be used by characters to get somebody farther away from them. This could be used to move somebody into a corner and then bash on them. This could be used to, you could use this defensively by attacking your own allies, sending them flying away from danger. Of course, you got to be careful. You might accidentally hurt them a little bit from if they can't move as far as you would move them. But possibly you might have saved them a lot more damage in the long run. Alright, levels 7. You get +2 to your escape artist and sense motive skills, and your steel bones increases to 3 damage to objects that physically hit you. Level 8, you get your dexterity bonus increases to a +2, and pump up increases. On your 4th pump up and every pump up thereafter, you gain +2 to all physical stats and a +10 feet to all movement, and 1 extra attack during a full attack action. The bonus attack is gained only once at the 4th pump up. You are now rewarded for spending the first 4 turns, at the very least the first 4 turns, using pump up. So now the longer you do it, the more bonuses you get out of it, and the more gainful it will be. Essentially, you spend some time increasing your stats, and you run into combat afterwards, and you clean up. And I know that it's kind of risky to not be in combat for the first few rounds, but don't worry, this is going to get a much faster ability, and you're going to be able to do these pump ups many more in a turn, and a lot faster, allowing you to get to the fight a lot sooner. Levels 9, you get a +1 to your constitution score, and your steel bones increases to 4 damage to objects that physically hit you. At levels 10, your steel knuckle increases to +5 damage in natural damage, and you gain a very powerful ability called Healing Steel. You essentially gain Regeneration 1. Not Fast Healing 1, Regeneration 1. Which means you now are capable of regenerating lost limbs if you did, or lost pieces to your body. And so it's a very powerful ability. As a GM, or if you're not the GM, you should make sure your GM understands that this is a very powerful ability, because this grants the character to be able to last a lot longer throughout the day in combat. Now, it's only 1 point of healing every turn, but it means that they can go back and back and back to more and more combats as the day goes on, because as the hours pass by, they're fully healing, because they're healing 1 point every 6 seconds, and so they are essentially becoming Wolverine. They're going to be able to get back in the fight a lot sooner, and they're going to be able to keep up the good fight and protect their allies for a lot longer during the day. Now, I will say that if the arm that the gauntlet is on gets severed, I'll leave it up to your GM to decide whether or not you regenerate a gauntlet arm, or if you just lose the gauntlet completely. Because I feel like if the GM severed your arm, it was because he wanted to get rid of the gauntlet. But if he wasn't trying to get rid of the gauntlet and he cut off your arm by accident or for some other reason, then yeah, go ahead and just regenerate an arm with a gauntlet on it. It's completely up to your GM on how they want to go about that. Levels 11, you gain +2 to heal and stealth, and you also gain a steel bones bonus up to 5 damage to objects that physically hit you. Levels 12, your constitution bonus increases to +2, and your pump up speeds up to a move action. You can now do pump up twice a turn, because you can do a move action in place of a standard action, allowing you to pump up 2 times in a turn, allowing you to spend 2 turns getting to that level 4 bonus, or even another third turn to get 2 more pump ups onto that additionally. It's up to you and how you want to play this, but now it's gotten faster and you can get more pump ups in your turns. Level 13, you get a +1 to your wisdom, and your healing steel regeneration increases to 2. Levels 14, your steel bones increases to 6 damage to objects that physically hit you, and you gain a new ability called Ground Pound. Instead of attacking a creature, you can spend a full attack action attacking the ground with furious strikes, each sending out earth-shattering tremors, doing half your attack's damage and bludgeoning damage to all within 30 feet as dirt and rubble erupt from under you. Now, you're probably asking, where's the reflex save? I thought to myself, to keep this gauntlet as powerful as it should be, that there shouldn't be a reflex save because it's causing the entire ground underneath you to erupt, and it's causing rubble to fly in all directions, that there isn't a way to dodge the damage. And because the damage also isn't going to be extremely high unless you are an insanely high strength character. The damage is not going to be that high. And so I just want to point out that if you are facing enemies that can fly, are flying, or just have the ability to hover in place or are hovering in place, that they should be pretty much immune to this or have a chance to fly or react to make an immunity. If so, if the characters are capable of flight but are not flying and you want to give them a shot to dodge this coming in, I would say that the reflex save is equal to the attack roll equal to an attack roll that the character makes. And I feel like that will balance that out really well. Level 15, you get a +2 to your combat maneuver bonus and your combat maneuver defense, and your healing steel regeneration increases to 3. Level 16, your wisdom score bonus goes to a +2, and pump up gains another power up on the 7th pump up, and every pump up thereafter you gain a +3 to all your physical stats and +15 feet to all movement. So again, rewarding you for spending some time on the back lines, increasing your stats to run in and clean up the fight. You essentially are becoming a cleanup. Let your companions and your allies start the fight. Let them start it off with some range attacks and whatnot, and then you can run in and clean it up real easily after a couple of turns. Let's see here. Level 17. Steel Knuckles gets increased to +10 unarmed and natural damage. Your strength, dex, con, and wisdom bonuses all increase from 2 to 4. Your acrobatics and perception, escape artist, sense motive, heal, and stealth, and your combat maneuver bonus and combat maneuver defense, all those bonuses increase from a 2 to a 4. Your steel bones increases to 8 damage to objects that hit you, and your healing steel regeneration increases to 5. Essentially, level 17 for most of the gauntlets are going to be a huge milestone and a major growth level for the gauntlet, in which essentially we are showcasing that the power of these gauntlets are escalating greatly as you level up, and so expect the abilities to get only better from here on out. Levels 18, you gain Steel Hide, a DR 10/dash. Essentially, I wanted to give a damage resistance, but I wanted it to be high enough so that if the character who has this gauntlet happens to be a barbarian, that the damage resistance still mattered, because I wanted it to be higher than the damage resistance a barbarian could get. And so damage resistance usually goes off of the highest one that you have. So I made sure to give a high DR damage resistance bonus. And with that, this is very useful no matter what character you're playing. Frontline fighter, you now just got much more durable. Backline character, you don't have to worry about physical damage as much anymore. Now, as you can see, a big weakness of this character is probably going to be spells. Not entirely, because you are increasing your AC with this gauntlet because of your dex bonus. You are increasing your reflex saves because of this dex bonus. You are increasing your fortitude save and your will save because of constitution and wisdom. So you are becoming more resistant to spells in those ways. But for the most part, spell damage is what's going to still be able to hurt you. And keep up with your regeneration 5 a little better than physical attackers right now. Levels 19, you gain a special ability called Momentum Strikes. For each consecutive strike you make on the same creature, your damage increases by 50% of the last damage done to that creature rounded down. This bonus is lost if you attack a creature other than the original creature you attacked, or if you get hit. So if you're curious on how to interrupt this, just have creatures that know what to expect from this fighter ready in action to attack when attacked, allowing them to hit them and interrupt the character to stop them from getting the damage bonuses. Other than that, essentially this gives the character the ability to really drill home the damage, to really unleash. Again, if you are playing a monk or a dual wielder, you are going to be able to get the most out of this gauntlet because you have more attacks, you have more chances to keep piling the damage on. So yeah, that is just another really cool ability. And then finally, at levels 20, Pump Up gets a level up to Swift Action. Essentially, this might just be a house rule of mine, but I always ruled it that you could do 3 swift actions in a turn in place of your move action and in place of your standard action. I don't see why you can only do 1 swift action. Swift action is doing something fast. I don't know why you can't do something fast more times in a turn. So I always house ruled it that you could do swift actions 3 times in a turn, so long as you gave up your standard action and your move action to do those additional swift actions. So again, if you play by that rule, you can now essentially get a huge bonus to your stats by pumping up to 6 in 2 turns and getting to 7 on the 3rd turn. Getting a massive bonus to your physical stats, a massive speed bonus to your character, so that way no matter what or the fight is gone after it started, or if you started far in the back line, you're able to rush into danger from your safety, and you can unleash hell on your opponents and clean up the combat real fast. As you can see, I added in a nice little description text of what happens when the gauntlet finishes at level 20, and that's that the glove disintegrates off your arm as your body and mind improves tenfold. You even feel your body getting stronger every second. So I always have the gauntlets dissipate and disappear in some way at level 20. Because there's no point in it being on you anymore. It's done its job. It's made you powerful. You are now extremely strong. And if you've made it to level 20, you deserve all the power-ups and all the abilities that this gauntlet has given you. And so I hope that you guys have enjoyed my little video on this gauntlet, and I hope that if you have any ideas on whether to make this gauntlet better, or you think something should work a different way, or you think that something just shouldn't work at all, or there shouldn't be on this gauntlet at all, you have any ideas whatsoever, you go ahead and let me know in the comments section. If you end up taking this gauntlet for a test ride with your group and you actually use it, come back to this video and let me know, or tell me in a current video. Just talk to me. I plan to be streaming. Come to one of my streams. Talk to me real time about it. I'd love to have a discussion about these gauntlets. They're my favorite items that I've ever created. So yeah, do try them out, have fun, and if you have anything to say, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Come to one of my streams, talk to me. Either one of those work. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a safe adventure.